We have a few people who came in late.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon. Ezra Dungo from Farmers Choice, National Tourism.
Okay. Okay, I believe everybody has introduced themselves. And welcome to today's training. Just a few housekeeping rules. We do have a sheet of paper that's going around. Clearly fill in your name, because that's the name that is going to be used to give you your certificate after today's training. So after the training, please stay around for a few minutes so that you can get your certificate of participation. I now take this opportunity to hand it over to our sponsors, Farmers Choice, and I'll call on Hezron Dongo, the National Sales Manager, to kick it off. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, I'll be very brief. I gather the time is, we have been given very limited time. I'll just need to tell you a little about Farmers Choice. Farmers Choice was formed in 1978, but the name Farmers Choice was started in 1980. Farmers Choice, originally it was a small butchery owned by a certain Goan called Jamal, who sold it to Block. Block was the original owners of the original chain of hotels. I think he was the pioneer of the chain of hotels in Kenya. And he was a very good trainer of managers and chefs. I know most of you know that. So after 10 years, Mr. Brock sold the company to Lonor. So Lonor later, after 10 years, sold to IPS. IPS, it is a chain of companies, more than 42 owned by Aga Khan. So at the moment, we are under Aga Khan. After that, Farmers Choice has got a subsidiary of a company called Choice Meat. It is a halal company and a genuine halal company with all the certificates, and it is managed by halal people because the slaughter fellow is a Muslim, the person receiving the animal is a Muslim, and they slaughter beef, goat, and lamb, and then they supply to Farmers Choice. That is how Farmers Choice is, and its subsidiary. Distribution. I better tell you a little bit about our services. We have, in sales department, we have got 4 sections. We have got catering, which manages the hotels. We have got export, which exports to the neighboring countries, and as far as Nigeria and United Arab Emirates. We have retail section. That is a section which handles all the supermarkets nationwide and the neighboring countries. We also have fast food, which is like Farmers Choice backbone, which Hezron is in charge of. Distribution. We distribute nationally with refrigerated trucks. All the hotels in Mombasa, we visit Mombasa, the whole of coast, South Coast, Island, Chanzu, and Watamu and Marindi, we visit twice in a week. And Nairobi, we visit our customers daily. So we call our customers, some send by emails, and we organize for their orders. They are packed over the night, loaded into refrigerated trucks, and we distribute them the following day. And when it comes to fast food, we have about 9 trucks refrigerated. These trucks services the hotels and the fast food and the supermarkets. We receive their orders twice in a week. We pack, load, and these vehicles are refrigerated, and we deliver to all the destinations as far as Isiolo, the farthest, Kapenguria, the farthest, Bungoma, Maraba, Busia, Isibania, and it's nationwide. So that is the fast food when delivering to all these customers. When it comes to export, we have a section of the export. Tanzania is the best export destination of Farmer's Choice. And they have their own trucks refrigerated. So they give us the orders, we pack the orders, and they come fortnightly, carry tons of products. Unfortunately, it is not very smooth with the current president, who has increased the tariff. So in Uganda, we help them to deliver, and they also come use their own trucks. So we distribute as far as this country, neighbor to Uganda, Rwanda, using our own refrigerated trucks. And the other countries like Jumba, we have their 2 distributors who come for their products. Ethiopia, we send it by air. Mogadishu, we have some agents who deliver there. So United Arab Emirates, we send by sea and we send by air. So those are the services we normally give to our customers. In Nairobi, where we have, it is just like a heart of the company, we have more than 15 salesmen under me who load their vehicle every morning, and they deliver to all the fast food in Nairobi. You know how many they are. There are very many. And at the same time, the retail, they have about 10 vehicles which are loaded the previous night, and before midday, they have distributed to all the supermarkets in Nairobi. So that is our distribution network. So wherever you are in Kenya, we are there. I think that's all about the distribution network. About our products, which our consultant chef is going to elaborate on that. Many don't know that we sell goods, we sell beef, we sell pork. We also distribute cheese. I know we have one very popular cheese, Irish cheese, cheddar cheese, which is very, very popular. We go is South Coast. The farthest we go is to all the lodges, and the rest of the lodges have got their own central stores in Nairobi. So we deliver to their goods at Kitale. I have one potential customer there. One is a doctor, and another one is a hawker who owned us about 600 kilos of
Choice. Now my name's Isaac Ndirangu Kabwe. I'm the consulting chef for Farmer's Choice. Many of you will ask yourselves, what is a chef doing in Farmer's Choice? It is my responsibility to ensure that all products that are purveyed by Farmer's Choice to either the retail market or the hotels, which is HoReCa, restaurants and institutions, are done in the spec. That is ensuring that the recipe is followed, that is ensuring that they are palatable, and that is ensuring that they are within the standards set by KEBS and ISO. By the way, we are ISO 22000 certified. We have KEBS, then we have HACCP, and then ISO. And this certification requires that we follow a certain trend and policies as we are manufacturing products. It is also my responsibility, in conjunction with the chefs in the field, to come up with new products. Right now, Farmer's Choice is producing 287 different processed products. Of course, you will not be able to see all of them because chefs will have different menus in their own institutions or establishments. But if you happen to go to the supermarkets, or if your organization happens to organize a visit with Farmer's Choice, you will be able to see the products. And in case you do not get a product that you have visualized, we can work together and develop that product for you as a chef or a catering institution to use for your customers. Today's discussion, we are not going to go into the nitty-gritties of cooking, because you guys know how to cook. And those who are in the front of the house have a basic idea of what you are serving. The idea today is, I would like people in this room to understand the products of Farmer's Choice better. Yes, people talk about sausages, but how do you cook sausages? What is inside a sausage? You talk about bacon. Yes, we cook bacon by grilling or pan frying, but how do you do it? Where is that bacon coming from? And how best do you use this product to get maximum yield that meets your expectation as a chef and also meets the client's expectation, right? Now, Farmer's Choice products, the meat or the raw material comes into the factory on its hoofs. What am I saying? I am saying that Farmer's Choice, being ISO 22000 certified, that all animals come live. We do not go sourcing for meats. And the meats or the animals that come, 70% is supplied by our own farms. 30% is supplied by third-party suppliers. Now you'll ask, hey, how do these people do their traceability? The third-party suppliers are those who have been vetted and certified by the QA department in Farmer's Choice. So we are able to follow whatever feed, medicine, water that you have given to that animal from the time it was born to the time we slaughtered. It gives us a position to be able to trace back from earth to plate. Therefore, when you are a chef or somebody in the service department, you are able to serve our product to your end user with the confidence that that product is fit for consumption. Are we clear so far? Any queries so far? About the ISO, about the slaughter? I've also talked about the quality control. I'll give you some handouts that will have all this information, because I'm sure you'll want to have a few questions here and there about quality control. Yeah? Let's go straight to sausages. Farmer's Choice is a sausage company. And we have several types of sausages. One type of the sausage is the mix and mince, or the mince and mix. This is the sausage where we get the meat, raw meat, and fat meat. Chefs, you know, for you to get a perfect balance, either on a burger or a sausage, you must have lean meat of up to 70% and of up to 25%. And that is why we call them the mince and mix sausages. And in the market, you will find that these are the boerewors and the lamb sausage. When you don't have fat in your lean meat, it cannot be tasty. Even when you're looking for a steak, you are busy trying to look for the marbling, the fat, and the lean meat distribution. So that is one type of sausage, major type of sausage. The other one is called the ball chopper, or the ball chop. It's going to cost you. It's called the ball chop. After we have minced and mixed the meat, we now take that meat into a ball chopper. Chefs, you know that bowl that goes round and chops. That is what gives the sausage that fine consistency. Once that is done, we now have the other major ingredient on the sausage, which is the collagen. Many people do not understand what the collagen is. The outer casing of the sausage. This collagen is manufactured protein. It is therefore edible. And where do you get this from? When you look at an animal, there is the skin, then there is the membrane between the skin and the flesh that even you have. When you move your skin, you see it moves. That membrane is what manufactures collagen. So it is actually manufactured protein and it is edible. So that is what consists of the outer casing. Now, we have the mincemeat, we have the fat, we have the collagen. Then we have the spices. Out of the 14 sausages, the difference in the sausage is the spice that has been induced into the sausage. Farmer's Choice is market driven. Wherever we see there is a need for a particular flavor, we develop that flavor and we send it out to the market. Yes, there is this notion that goes around. Sausage zinatengenezwa na trimmings, sausage zinakuanga na unga na kadhalika. There is nothing like that. At Farmer's Choice, all the meat cuts are prime. At the time of slaughter, we decide this animal was weighing this. What is the fat distribution? Then from there we say this is going to go to sausages, this is going to go into bacon. The flour that people talk about is not actually flour. It is something we call rusk, which is wheat flour baked until dry. Inakuwa kama mbao. Then we crush it and mix it into the sausage meat. Why do we do this? You are aware that you yourself, and any animal for that matter, has 70% liquid protein, which is actually liquid. So if you do not have rusk within the sausage, once you have stuffed the sausage with the rusk, with the meat, the liquid will start to ooze. So in order to hold that sausage liquid part of it, you must have the rusk. Yes. Nowadays we have a problem. There are people who are saying they are gluten intolerant. So we have also developed a new sausage that is called Sabalat. Sabalat, you will find it in the supermarkets, or when you look at the price list, which I'm going to give you, is a gluten-free product. So chefs, guys in front of the house, you can confidently serve this product and tell the consumer it is gluten-free. Any questions so far? Please, if I'm going too fast, slow me down. Cooking of the sausage. The best way to achieve a good sausage is to start with cold oil, a cold pan, and a sausage which is at ambient temperature. Ambient temperature being the temperature in the room where you are. Now, many mistakes that I've seen in the industry is you have a chef, he's been told, hey, there's no sausages in the buffet. Runs to the refrigerator. If the sausages are frozen, puts them in a microwave. Doesn't even use the thaw mode. He starts to cook them. From the microwave, throws them in the deep fryer. And then by the time it's going to the insert in the buffet, it's an old, shriveled looking sausage. How unfortunate. Now, if you want to hold your sausages for longer, because breakfast runs from 6:30 to 10, get your cold pan, get your cold oil, get your ambient temperature sausages, arrange them on the pan, then light the fire. And keep it low. It will take you exactly 6.5 minutes to cook that sausage to the core. And when the customer cuts that sausage, it's juicy. The flavor is coming out. And the added advantage is that you can hold that sausage in a shaving dish for 3 hours. And it will not shrink. The skin will not shrivel. Are we clear on that? Any query? Any query? So we have also gone ahead and developed a sausage called Cumberland. Cumberland was developed because we have had many clients coming to your restaurants and saying they are allergic to nitrate, they are allergic to food color, they are allergic to this, that, the other. The Cumberland sausage, the only preservative in the sausage is salt. So if you have other clients who are more complicated, I would advise that you order for that Cumberland sausage. Now, the tricky side of the Cumberland sausage is that you must serve it with a sweet sauce to balance and even out the salt flavor in the Cumberland. We have even gone a step further. We have been told that there are people who complain about fat content in the sausage. That 25% we were talking about. Now we have low-fat sausages available that have 5% of fat, implying that the rest, 95%, is lean meat. So if you have clients who have said that they are trying to watch their weight, not observe, watch their weight, you can serve them that. Any question so far on sausages? Any? Yes, please. The low fat. Yes. It's low fat. In the market, it is being sold as low fat. It's called low fat, and you can order it. I have some price lists for you here. You will be able to see that. I want to be as quick as possible. Let's go to bacon. Now, as you can see on the screen there, we have several types of bacon. Again, like I told you, farmer's choice is market driven. We always develop a product when we realize that there is a market for that product. We have the back bacon. Back bacon, as the name describes, comes from the loin of the pork. The loin. Very flavorful and a very small slice. In fact, it's a few centimeters of rind and fat. So that one comes from the back, from the loin of the pork. The collar bacon. Collar also comes from other primal cuts like the leg, sometimes the shoulder. Remember, a moving muscle always activates protein. So, activated protein in a meat makes it look darker and it is more tastier. And that is why you will find to date the fillet, which sits inside the ribs, is not as tasty as either the rump or the loin or the meat from the shoulder. So that is more the reason why you should use the collar and the back if you are trying to bring out a flavor in a dish. Rindless bacon. Rindless bacon was developed because we had clients in your restaurant saying, oh, the bacon here is too fatty, or the rind is too tough. We developed the rindless bacon, which actually comes from the neck muscle. You will find our rindless bacon has separate muscles and very well marbled, because you know the neck needs to move left, right, up, down, and it is also very tasty. Because again, it's coming from a moving muscle. Streaky bacon, the most popular. Again, like we said, if you have lean meat with no fat, it'll always be boring. So the streaky bacon comes from the belly of the porker. And it has layers of lean meat, fat, lean meat, and fat. Yeah? That's what makes it very popular and very tasty. Now my favorite, the beef bacon. Beef bacon is turning out to be one of the leading products in bacon as we speak. One, the secret with this bacon is that when you are using your grill or pan fry, it will take you exactly 45 seconds to cook that product. The mistake many people are doing in the industry is taking the beef bacon and putting it on the grill or whatever instrument you're using to cook for 5 minutes. There is no need. The slice or the size of that steak, the smoking it undergoes, which is at 72 degrees centigrade for 1 hour, has already partially cooked this bacon. So all you are doing is to give it that brown, crispy cover outside, or rather on the top. Now, the bacon process. Many people wonder, how do you make bacon? Once we have extracted the meats and we have identified which meats we are going to use, we take this bacon and add salt. We actually add brine. Long time they used to add salt on the top, but now we have machinery that can inject salt into the meat to ensure that the salt flavor is evenly distributed. After that is done, we now put it into the smoker at 72 to 70 degrees for an hour to 1 hour and 15 minutes. Then from there, it is now taken back into the freezer and frozen to -18 degrees in order to facilitate into the slicing, the thin slices. So it is now sliced and packed, either into 400 grams for retail or the 1 kilo for the hotels, catering institutions, and other users who use that. Any question on bacon? Any question? Yes, please.
I'd like to know the other methods of preparing the bacon, cooking methods.
Now, you know one thing I like about cooking? There is no written down procedure that you must start from the left, going to the right. It's not like accounts. Accounts since time immemorial is credit, debit, credit, debit. What I always tell chefs is that this is an art. You can put bacon in eggs. I used to have muffins when I was a chef in the hotels. I used to have muffins with bacon. You can put Scottish pancakes with bacon. You can have bacon on your pizza topping. You can have soup with bacon. You can have rice with bacon. You can have potato with bacon. You can have matoke with bacon. As long as your recipe does not destroy the product, there is no limitation. What do I mean by destroying? This idea of cooking products to well done. Mpaka inakuwa kama mbao. So today, if you want to have tomato soup with bacon, you will have tomato soup with bacon. You want to have a fruit cake with bacon, you'll have it. Ice cream, sorbet, we've had sorbet with beef bacon, you'll have it. So there's no limitation. As long as the creativity you're using is going to meet your customers' expectations. I don't think there's a limitation on that. Another one question on bacon before we move on.
What were the freezing degrees of the bacon?
To allow, to facilitate in the slicing, it is frozen to minus 18. Minus 18.
Good afternoon. We have association members here, members of the Nakuru Tourism County Association. We have a meeting on first floor. So if you're a manager and you're a member, please join us upstairs. Thank you.
Karibu tena. Come more often. Any other question? Before we move on? Good. So now I think we shall be seeing better bacon in every establishment we go to. Again, you know, when you cook this product in the right way, you are able to hold it in the shaving dish for longer. Always remember that. Now, let's move on. I want to be as fast as I can. So basically, these are the packages. Now, I want to do the delicatessens and the hams together, because this is another area where we have very interesting products, but I think are largely underutilized. Now, I'll be very quick. Now, we have what we call, let me try and enlarge on this so that you can see. Now you can see we have the prime gammon and the smoked gammon. These, in my heydays, were very popular products. And I'll continue to tell you now. Gammon, smoked gammon, is a prime product even in Europe. I can assure you, 90% of the tourists who come to this country even at their prime age of 70 and 60 years. Why? Because we want to ensure that you continue to cover the pores that are on this joint so that nothing comes out and nothing comes in. In some establishments, you will find the guys who will take this and put it in cold water. But you must always observe the right temperatures. If you are serving it hot, please let it be hot. If you are serving it cold, let it be served cold. That is below the danger zone. You know the danger zone? Huh? Guys are wondering what danger zone I'm talking about. If something is cold, you must ensure that it is at 4 degrees and below. If it is hot, it must be at what temperature? 65 and above, so that we do not encourage any bacteria and microbial growth. Are we together? Any questions on that? Now, many people will ask us, what is the difference between the sandwich ham and the cooked whole ham? The cooked whole ham comes from one muscle. If today the guy in QA has seen an animal and he's seen that that meat is ideal to produce a whole ham, what happens to that joint of meat? It is put into a massager, right? A massager is like a tumbler. It turns the meat round, which activates the protein. Protein, remember we had covered the first characteristic of a protein is what? It becomes dark. The second characteristic is that mold shape. If it is a square mold, it will have that square mold. If it is a semicircle mold, it will have that semicircle mold. If that is requiring us to have something that is pocket friendly, we extend all our products with something we call soya. And soya is rich in vegetable protein and fiber. Look at something like Nyama Bite. You see Nyama Bite in the market. That is a perfect, well-balanced diet by itself, because you have the vegetable protein, you have the fiber, and you have the meat. So all these are products that are available and you can use them. You can either get them in the bulk or in the smaller packet. It is not cooked, but it is hung after smoking for 27 days. So you can imagine when you hang a whole leg, which is about 5 kilos, and after 7 days or 27 days, you have 1.5 kilos left. Implying 4.5 kilos have gone down, crystallizes. And after it has crystallized, no matter how much you try to thaw it, it never thaws. So when you are slicing your ham, it starts to break. So never ever freeze your ham. The moment you do, you break your ham, you reduce the shelf life by almost 45%. Because now the preservative, which is the nitrate, has crystallized and therefore cannot protect your product from microbial attack. Are we together so far? Any query? Any query? Some questions maybe you have faced when you are in your outlets. Now, I'll quickly move to fresh cuts. Now, many people have always been talking about, including yourself, that farmer's choice. Farmer's choice. There is a farmer's choice hamutawezana nazo. I would want to refute that today. I would always want to say that our fresh meat cuts give you value for your money. And how do we do that? Most of the hotels within Nairobi now, we've gone this way. We are actually cutting the meat to your spec. If I can enlarge those two, look at that. This is what we are giving for our stewing beef. This is what we are giving for our stir-fry beef. It is lean, without any fat, no sinew. So the chefs are actually getting this product from the packaging and cooking it straight away. This has gone even a step further by controlling what we call, I don't want to call it theft in the kitchen, or I don't want to call it that, but you'll agree with me, chefs. Meat disappears. Tomorrow the butcherman will tell you, hey, these guys, they have supplied us a strip loin. It was very thin. Sana mistake zimetoka sita. Badala ile namba ya kawaida. Now we are portioning each product to the customer's spec. If your spec on the menu reads sirloin steak 250 grams, we will cut that sirloin steak for you, package it individually, label it with the date of manufacture, date best, best before use, and when it will expire. Now, it also helps you, the controlling guys, if there are any F&B controllers or managers for that matter, you are able to control your stocks because you have predetermined how many portions you can serve with products that are being supplied to your hotel without having to wait for your butcherman to give you the results. So with the price list that I'm giving you, you will see a whole range of these products, just to mention a few. Yeah? These are now the most popular beef cuts. We have the shin on bone, which is the osubuko. It's become very popular. We are also doing shin on bone on lamb. We have now the barbecue beef ribs. Oops, what is happening? Sorry. Sometimes it happens. Yeah? Now let's look briefly at the beef cuts. Now, chefs, I really want us guys to start thinking out of the box. Because everybody and every restaurant that I've walked into, lazima utapata T-bone steak. Every restaurant that I've gone to, lazima utapata ribeye. But now, look at this animal. If the total weight of a grass-fed animal is 220 kilos dress weight, the primos are 10%. Primos being the strip loin, the fillet, and the rump. Remembering that out of the 220 kilos, 110 kilos is what? Is bone. Who am I addressing? I am addressing those establishments that buy whole carcasses and meat with bone. So if your price that you are buying your product is 460, for example, per kilo, remembering that 50% of the total weight of that meat you are buying is bone. Guys, you must be making very expensive stock. And if you have dogs that are eating those bones, they are also eating very expensively. Because you are actually buying the bones also at 450. And if you do not have the above, it means the effective cost of 1 kilo is actually 900 shillings per kilo. Because if you don't have the bones for stock, and you won't use the bones for feeding your dogs, then the effective cost of 1 kilo of your meat is 900 shillings. But look at me from Farmer's Choice. We have tried to isolate all these meat products and meat cuts, cutting them to your spec, implying that if I serve you or I supply you with 1 kilo of beef cubes, you are assured that that 1 kilo of beef cubes will translate to your customer's plate. Unlike when you buy untrimmed and meat with bone, you will always find a situation whereby your butcherman will be required to trim, remove the bone, and then you start calculating your yield. Are we together here? So I've met quite a number of you who tell me, don't tell me this story. I am buying the ram at 530. Isaac, how do you expect me to buy the ram at 700 shillings? And I'll tell you how. If we come to your kitchen and do a yield test on that ram that you're buying at 500, remove the trimmings, all the fat, what is the effective cost of 1 kilo? You will find that we are more dear than the current supplier. I don't want to take much time. I can see my next colleague is here. We would have talked until tomorrow. Do you have any questions so far, as we have gone? So, I would just want to finish by saying this. At Farmer's Choice, hatuna la kuficha. You can organize your groups, your teams to come to Farmer's Choice and have a factory visit. See the slaughter, see the processing of the meats, see the final product, and then we can sit down on the chef's table and agree, hey, can you develop this product for us? And before I sit down, I would want to ask my colleagues from our sister company, etc., etc. I'm sure the ladies here would want to say something before the next speaker comes on board. Asanteni sana lakini. Thank you.
Hello. Good afternoon. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. Just 5. We have like 4 brands. No, we have 4 brands. That is Peptan, Zuri, Orchid Valley, and now Pep, yeah? Basically, in hotels, we have Peptan. Peptan, we have sauces, we have tomato paste, we have catalogs that are going around. Probably you get a copy, and just to know more about our products. We have, under Peptan, we have tomato paste, we have canned products, that is baked beans, quite a range of products, yeah? Then we have Pep, those are squashes, different varieties. Then we have Orchid Valley, which is our tetra juice. Now we are fighting with Del Monte. We are out to fight Del Monte. Then we have Zuri, which is like Minute Maid, yeah? Basically, why we are here is to speak about promoting our local brand. We've noticed that quite a number of chefs, when you go and introduce, like when I go and introduce my product, that is ketchup, they'll say, we are used to hate. Let's promote our local brand. If you have any questions, if you want to know more about our product, we will be glad to talk about our products.
Yes, feel free to also ask a question, either on those products or on the
price list from Farmer's Choice. We have our own price list that we will share, yeah? One-on-one.
Now,
Give you better discounts. Check.
yes.
The other side. The better price list.
I also have a product catalog which illustrates all the products that are made by Farmer's Choice. I don't have many of them. I think I have something like 50 copies. And I'm wondering how we are going to share this out. Because I would wish each establishment represented here should have a copy of this. This will be able to guide you on both the fresh meats and the processed products that we have here at Farmer's Choice. So I don't know how we are going to do this, because I only have 50 copies. Those who will not get copies today, remember I asked you to have your email address clearly indicated. We shall be able to send that on soft copy. Now, with your pens and paper, please write this down. Capital I, capital N, DIRANGU, that should read I in Dirangu, at Farmer's Choice, farmerschoice.co.ke. If you have any doubt, if you have any issue as far as products are concerned, please use that email. And now I will share Hezron Dongo's email address. If you have any issue with distribution and logistics, please use this email address, capital H, capital N, DUNGU, that should read H Ndongo, at farmerschoice.co.ke. Now, as far as the sources are concerned, my God, I need a change of eyeglasses. I'm going to ask you to read this. I really can't read it. Please take note of this email.
Okay. Tabitha.
Sorry about that.
TABITHA dot OBETTO at peptang, PEPTANG.com. Thank you.
Any questions before the next speaker comes? Just trying to distribute the goodies. These are just some recipes that have been tried and tested, and they do work. And by the way, you can try this at home. It's not dangerous. So I'm still asking about the catalogs. How are we going to distribute this? Yes, and how do we tell which company is which company? Now the registration has gone for the certificate rating. Okay. Yes. Let's see who is from, how do we do this now? Yes?
Like you ask who and who is from the same place. And you
Okay, who and who is from the same place?
Me and her.
Okay. One place. You guys are from the same place. Then why are you putting your hand up? Let me just see one person from each place, please. And you will forgive me if they do not get to you, and that is why we have your email address. You will get them on soft. Yes, please assist me. This will help these guys understand our products better. Please, thank you very much. If you're from the same establishment, please do not pick up your hands because as you can see, they are not enough. I didn't know we had so many outlets in Naivasha, in Nakuru. Make sure those ladies behind there get something, Tabitha. They have been very attentive. I would hate if they did not get it. No, as long as we have your email address. Did you do that? I don't have any more. My goodies are out.
Hello, how are you? Can everybody hear me? Thank you very much. Now, my name is Ephraim Boto. I am the director of Boto Solar Limited. Boto Solar Limited is a company that does work very closely with chefs and managers. We have been hearing this morning about a very nice presentation by my friend here about all the products that we have here. And let me tell you that we have one product also that is very interesting and very nice. We manufacture systems that are able to cook food very, very easily for you. Maybe I'll ask you to hold this one for me. Now, our company deals with cooking equipment. And by the way, at the end of this small presentation, I am going to give a present to somebody, so you better listen very carefully. I'm going to give you a present worth about 5,500, and I don't know who will be the lucky person. Just before I continue, I would like Derito, our Chef Derito, to please make sure that everybody receives a calendar. I came with enough calendars for everybody, so there's no point of scrabbling. In this calendar, you can be able to see all our products. Some of those products are fantastic products that I'm very sure that some of you have not been able to see them. They contain machines for cutting vegetables. I know how tedious it is, you people know it. Cutting vegetables in your kitchens is not a very easy task. But now we have machines that can be able to cut all your vegetables. All your carrots, all your onions, all your scomovikis, and they can cut them to any length you want them to be. They can cut them as little, as small portions as possible. So those are some of the wonderful things that normally we import and assemble. We also are manufacturers and importers of meat cutting machines. So mambo ya kukatakata nyama na mkono, we have the machines for cutting it. And then we have got ovens, everything to do with pastry, we have it. Everything to do with the cooking, we have both the conventional and the energy savers. We have some cookers, we call them Madame Sue high-speed cookers. I'm sure you never knew that you can have a cooker using charcoal that will cook about 10 times faster than gas cookers. We have them here. You as chefs know it better than anybody else that cooking is very, very essential. The speed of cooking in kitchens is very essential. And that's why we thought the best thing is to be able to bring at least a calendar for each one of the chefs around here. I'd better miss a manager, but I do not want you as a chef to miss it because I know that you are the people in the hot kitchen, you are the people cooking. When people have waited for their food for some time and they cannot be able to get it, you are the guys who will be asked. People will bang tables and ask, why is my food? And the chefs normally have it very hot. And that's why we have come up with solutions for your kitchens, to make sure that now you can cook your food in supersonic speeds. You can be able to unlock the potential of your kitchen, because you can cut all your meat, you can cut all your vegetables. Our machines cut very fast. You'll be surprised. Our vegetable cutter, model S40, can be able to cut 1 ton of vegetables, sumawiki or cabbages, in 30 minutes. It is incredible. You can be able to cut vegetables with such a very, very short time. Now that everybody has got this one here, who doesn't have one? Who doesn't have one? My goodness, make it faster. Let everybody have. I say we better have, nobody having it, but let's have, at least the chefs have one, because it is very important. Now, if you look at the bottom part of that calendar, you will see our range of ovens for baking bread. Now we have come up with a supersonic, high-speed baking oven using charcoal or firewood without using the smoke, using firewood without you feeling the smell of firewood, and without even using the fire. And this one is able to bake faster than electric ovens. We also have electric ovens for those who want electric ovens. But you believe me that at the end of the day, what you require is the production cost. Our ovens have the lowest production cost. The lowest production cost. So we ask our customers, look around and see whether you want the electric ovens or you want our biomass ovens, which are able to bake faster than electric ovens. So all those things, we have got them. And now assuming that everybody has the... Have you got everybody? No, because I want to ask you a question so that I can leave here when I've given you my present costing about 5,000 shillings, and that present is going to be found here. Okay, now write in your books there, our telephone numbers. Our company's known is as Bottle Solar Limited. Bottle Solar Limited. Telephone numbers are 0722 602 561. 0722 60 25 61, and the other number is 0733 711 113. Our email number is info@botosolar.com. And if you want to look at much further about our products, our website number is www.botosolar.com. We have offices in Nairobi, offices in Nakuru, which is the headquarters. We have in Kericho, we have in Eldoret, and hopefully we are going to open one soon in Meru. And now comes the $1 million question that makes you get my reward of a product which cost about 5,500. It's a small stove, and because we do these stoves, it's a stove that can be able to cook with charcoal and cook very well. And this is the question. Can somebody start up and give us the telephone number of Bottle Solar without having to look at your calendar? I just hope that you have looked on it already and then you're able to answer. Can somebody answer? Tell me which is the telephone number of Ephraim Bottle of Bottle Solar Limited. Let's see your hand up, and then I can be able to... Let us have somebody at the back, the other lady at the back. Yes, you. Yes? Yes? Let's give her a clap. Thank you very much. And to be gender sensitive, that was the lady. Let us have also a gentleman who is also going to get a reward of this marvelous stove costing about 5,500. Now, this is the question. can somebody give us the website number of Bottle Solar Limited? This is for men, and we take somebody well dressed as a chef, and here he is. Well dressed as a chef. Tell us what is the website without looking at the calendar, because if you look at it, you'll be disqualified. So please tell us what is the website number of Bottle Solar Limited. Repeat again. Without referring you to your website. www. Open your mouth where stuff we can all hear. How many W's did you say? 3? Yes. Dot. Ameanguka. So let's have somebody. Do we have any other person who is well dressed like a chef here? And he knows the answer. Well dressed like a chef, because I want to see. Let's look at him. Yes, that's right. Yes. Can we have the gentleman in the middle there? Tall guy. Stand up, please, and tell us. Yes. What is the website of Bottle Solar Limited? Let's give him a clap. He's got it. You two gentlemen, please come up there and say hi to our chief chef, who is Mr. Ndirango, and he will definitely be able to give you 2 stoves, 1 stove for the gentleman and 1 stove for the other gentleman. And please don't leave this venue without having your calendar. And the first person, the first hotel that will give us an order on any of our products, the chef will get a smartwatch. You can listen your phone on it, you can video on it, and you can be able to measure your heart rate. The first 3 people will get those smartwatches. Thank you very much, and God bless. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm waiting for the wonderful calendar to be finished. We want to move to the next session. My name is Adi Mwangi. I'm the chairman of Nakuru County Tourism Association. I want to start by thanking all of you for coming, honoring our invitation. I hope you have learned something from Chef Isaac. Something. Has he added? He has been in this business for long. Has he added something? Chefs around here, has he added something? One of our objectives as Nakuru County Tourism Association is to capacity build our people, and that's why we decided to bring the F&B personnel, so that you get something from Farmer's Choice, you'll get something from Bottle Solar, you'll get something from Coca-Cola, beverages, and you'll also get something from Keroche Industries. After the presentation, we have another set of presentation that is on safety and security. As you can see, we tailor-made this meeting to be in line with security and safety. From food security, what you serve to your customers, to what they drink, to national security, where we have a representative of the county commissioner in the house. We also have what we call energy security or safety, energy safety, where before long we'll have the MD for National Oil, who is joining us. And then we'll have mental security later on, where one of the best leadership guru, Dr. Wale, will be taking the stand. So at this time, without further ado, I would like to welcome my friend Paul from Coca-Cola Beverages to continue.
Good afternoon, all. This afternoon, My name is Paul Gatere. I am the Regional Sales Manager from Nairobi Bottlers, CCBA. Western region, in this case, starts from all the way from the Mara in Narok and covers Narok, Naivasha, the Nyandarua, all of it, or Kalau, going down to Baringo. Then we come to Gilgil, Nakuru, all the way to Londiani. I have 43 customers and an army of about 50 employees that work for Coke under me. So Nairobi Bottlers covers about 4 general trade regions. In Nairobi, we have northern, which is all the way to Garissa. Then we have southern, which is a Machakos area. And then we have Nairobi CBD, and we have key customers. So without much further ado, I'll just start off the presentation. And we start by saying that we all know that the Coca-Cola company started with what we call the RGB. The 300 ml glass bottle that we all know is traditional. And over time, we have changed. We have become what we call an all beverage company. We just don't sell Coke as we began. Some of us, like Mzee, I can see when he was growing up, he only knew Coke, Fanta, and Sprite in the glass bottle. But we know now over time, we have evolved on that. We sell plastic soda, we sell water, Dasani and Keringet, we sell juices. So over time, we have evolved. And we have evolved because we are listening to the consumer more. What is the consumer saying? We listen to them, we do studies with consumers, and what they say they want, we adapt that. Yeah? So as you can see at the bottom there, the Francesco Crespo, he's our Chief Growth Officer, and he says, rather than telling consumers what they should be drinking, we will humbly align our portfolio to follow their taste and their needs. So we do not just make products because the consumer is there to have them, but we follow what the customer is wanting to have. And also what they want to buy. We do not force product just because we are a big company to consumers. So, as I said, we began with the glass bottle here. And it has changed from 300 ml. We have again made the 200 ml bottle, the smaller one. We have cans, and then we have the plastic sodas, and we also have them in different variety now. We have bitter lemon, we have the mixers, and we've now come to juices, as you can see here. And also, you can see the Sprite of the Fanta family. Plus now, we are also doing water in Keringet, and which is premium for us. And Dasani, as your normal water. And also energy category. Energy, we do not produce, we distribute for the Monster company. We have 2 portfolios of energy. We have Power Play, the one that comes in affordable 50 shillings at retail, and the one that now competes in the competition at retail, Monster 500 ml at Kenya shillings 150. As I said, we began with a glass bottle. And because we are listening to the consumer, we have evolved. Last year, we made 32 new innovations. We brought in new 32 SKUs, in juice mostly. And actually, the president, in September, he commissioned our new plant in Nairobi that produces your Minute Maid juice. Here, this Minute Maid juice is produced by us at Nairobi Bottlers. And the factory was commissioned by the president, and he actually sampled our product. It's very premium, very nice, at affordable price, and it's got no preservative. It's the only juice in the market in Kenya right now that has not been added any more preservative. The way we make it, we boil the product up to about 80 degrees Celsius and drop it in less than a minute to 5 degrees Celsius. That process of that cooling makes the product have a longer life shelf without any preservative. So these are some of the things that we want to introduce to the market this year. And you can see we have January all the way to December. So that even you, as you prepare your plans for your customers when they come to you, you can know at the back of your mind, Coke is going to bring in some new products. This month, in February, you already knew that we had the Coke Zero. We'll introduce the zeros to both Coke, Fanta and Sprite, and Stony. Already we have zeros in Coke and Stony. So this month, actually next week, you'll be seeing lights or zeros in the Fanta family. This will be coming out in this coming week, before the end of February. And also, the Crest Schweppes, your mixers, the guys that do in the bar, will have zeros in the mixers category. We have also, as you can see, and our presentation is going to be made here, because of recyclable stuff and containers, we are introducing Dasani, not longer in the plastic bottle, but in RGB, returnable glass, just like a soda on the glass. So already, this is already done. We are just waiting for a few things. It should be available in the next coming, before the end of February. And likewise, for the mixers again at retail, we are introducing slimline cans for the mixers. The guys that don't like the one in the plastic, they can have it on the go in slimline can. Again, by June, for the people that like their sports, bicycling and climbing up the mountain, to hydrate and also to add energy to the system, we are bringing in Powerade Zero by the end of June at Kenya shillings 85 to about 100 shillings. In the yogurt and in the juice category, already for your school kids, we've introduced the 200 ml kiddie pack at Kenya shillings 55. And this pulpy flavor, again, we are adding to the, already we have two pulpies. We have mango and orange. So we are adding a pulpy flavor by end of May, and yogurt with juice by the end of July. And Fruity Boost with beets. Already we have Fruity Boost in the trade. Fruity Boost is juice, normal juice, but with milk inside. Very tasty, very nice. So we are adding the one with beets. If let's say it's mango, you'll have mango beets inside the juice. If it's orange, you'll have orange juice inside the juice. So this product is coming up by the end of August. And we also bring in the energy category, we are bringing Predator by March. Predator is similar to Power Play. And we are also introducing a new Monster Mango Loco in April. And likewise at the Ultra, this is now the light, just like the zeros in energy by the end of August. And then Power Play, we are going to introduce the mango flavor, again adding to the flavor that we have currently by the end of September. And as we said, that we are now listening to consumers. We've been doing now water, we come to juice, we come to energy, but by the end of this month, we'll be doing tea and coffee. Yeah? We are going to do tea and coffee. Already the machines are around in the country. We are just doing packaging. We'll start with the fused tea bags, the one that you sachet. We'll start with that. Then we come to hot beverage, which is coffee. And this will come in 3 sachets. There will be 3 different flavors. So by the end of March, you'll start seeing coffee and tea that is produced or sold by the Coca-Cola company under CCBA. And then under the same, we are going to get baristas, which is a canned coffee. It's coming around by the end of May. And this is our innovation pipeline for 2019. So already with them, we have the zeros in Fanta and the Schweppes. And also we have the Dasani RGB. This one came early. It was supposed to come in April, but we already started to produce it, so you'll get in the trade before the end of this month. So again, this is just for the sake of planning and information, so that when you see the product in the trade, you'll not ask a lot of questions. But these people in this room, they're very critical to us, and that's why we came with this presentation, to just show you what we are going to do in the next few months. So, our approach is to meet the changing taste and needs of consumers. And we are saying, providing clear, easy to find calorie information to help them and make the informed decision. So in all our products, you'll find this mark that you can be able to scan. It is going to give you the nutrition information in all our products. If you check the bottles in front of you, you'll see. they have this mark that you can scan, even with your phone, to just get, if the customer are asking you what is inside this product, you can easily scan this, any Coke product, and it will give the information that the customer will require. We're also saying we are expanding the availability of smaller and more convenient packages to help people control sugar more easily. We just said right now, we have introduced the sugars in Fanta, Sprite, and Stony, but in 300 ml packages. So for the person that will not be able to, will not want to be able, or cannot be able to finish the 300 ml, we are introducing smaller packs in 200 ml RRP, so that you can be able to afford it occasionally 20 shillings. So again, in the innovation category, we have C+, I think most of you have seen it, we have the juices, and we have the aesthetics, the product that adds you energy after you do sports. So, what are we saying for the hotel industry? We know it is critical for people, let's say, gymming and playing sport. They cannot perhaps go with the, what we call the IC packs, which is your 300 ml and 500 ml. But we are saying we have the solution to have the 20 liter, 18.9 liter carrying it at the gym section, or at the bar, or the cafeteria, that we can be easy to avail. Shortly, we'll be availing plus the dispenser, as you can see in the picture, and this is available. You can talk to us when we are done after the meeting. We can tell you how you're going to get this. As I said, returnable glass in the sun already is out, March 2019. We'll also avail the same in glass, carrying it, premium, at 750 ml bottle. I know right now you have the premium water in 750 ml, both the sparkling from Keringet. But later, because of the way things are going in the environmental sustainability, we are going to introduce the Keringet in 750 ml. I want to invite my sister, Candy, to speak to us about environmental, why we are going to the glass way. Shortly, 3 slides, and then we'll be done, and I'll take my questions after that.
Good afternoon. I'm Candy, project manager for Coca-Cola Beverage Africa in Kenya for recycling. So as Gatere has rightly put it, I'm sure we are all aware of the discussion that is going around the country in terms of environment, in terms of plastic waste. We are aware, right? Yes, we know last year there was a ban on polythene. Was it last year or last year but one? Yeah, there was a ban on polythene, and the government is really keen to ensure that we are not polluting our environment, we are not having plastics going into our oceans. And so we think this is a noble cause for all of us. But the thing is, for PET bottles, the problem is not the PET bottle. The problem is how do we dispose the PET bottle after use. Do you agree with me? Yes? Yes. The PET bottle itself is not a problem because it gives us a lot of convenience. Whatever is packaged there, you're sure it's good water, so you can safely take it without having to worry. So it is a good thing. It's a good package. It's a good solution for all of us. But then how we dispose it after use is the big issue. So as Coca-Cola, we are really determined and looking at having a world without waste. And this is our slogan, it's our rallying call, it's our campaign for the next few years to ensure that in the markets that we are operating and not having negative effect to the environment. In this regard, we have launched 100 by 21 campaign, and this means by the year 2021, as Coca-Cola Beverage Africa, we want to ensure for every single bottle we put out to trade, we are able to collect it, we are able to recycle it, we can account for it. Don't you think that's a good thing? And we in this room are going to help us do that. We in this room, we are the interface between our product and the consumers, correct? So how are we looking to do this as a company? First, PET can be recycled to various things. It can be recycled to cloth, it can be recycled back to bottle, it can be recycled with other additives to fencing poles, to furniture, to many things. Yes, for cases that we use for our telephones. So it has a lot of use. So we do not need to discard it in the environment. So we are looking to do this in 3 ways. First, partnering with institutions, small collectors, hotels, the different industry to ensure that we are able to pick these bottles after use. We are able to pick them once the consumer is done with it. And now this is where we are saying we need to partner with yourselves so that then this waste is able to be segregated properly from source, so that then we are able to recycle it without having too much hassle. The other thing is establishing aggregators, and as we go along in your different markets, you'll be able to see this. We hope to set up big collection centers where every Kenyan is aware that there is a collection center here. I can drop off my PET and also make economic business out of it. You know, there are a lot of Kenyans, youth, young youth that are not in employment. So how can we ensure that through this collection, we're also able to create jobs? And finally, we're going to have recycling, and our flagship project for this year, we are partnering with a company called T3. T3 is those are 3 T's that stand for trash, to thread, to textile. So this company has set up at the EPZ in the river in Nairobi, and they are going to be taking our bottles and converting them to fabric, to textile, to good clothing that we can wear. I'm sure all of you know the polyester t-shirts, the ones that we use for gym, for running marathon. Those t-shirts are actually made of PET. So we do not see why we need to dispose our PET in the environment, but instead we need to put it in good use. So I'm looking at how can we partner together with yourselves to ensure this becomes a reality, that Kenya stands on the map as an environmental conscious country, as a country where there's no trash in the environment, that we're using this trash to make something out of it. And this is through the circular economy. So we are looking to you to help us in segregation of waste at source, okay? So in your different hotels, establishment, lodges, as your customers take these products that then you're able to put for us the PET bottles aside, and then we can have a way of collecting them. I know for some of the lodges that are in the interior, you have delivery trucks that come there, deliver goods, and they leave without anything. How can we then be able to stimulate this reverse logistics that we're able to get this PET? And finally, on awareness creation. So in Kenya today, there's, out of the PET produced, we have about 25% of this plastic is being recycled. But do we know, even that 25%, do we know where it's being done? I don't think so. So how then do we create that awareness? How do we ensure that we preach the gospel of PET is not waste? It can be something good even after you've consumed what is inside. So we are looking to you to also create for us this awareness as you interact with your different customers. Just educate them where you can, that yes, yes, we're using the PET, because I've also seen some hotels, they are on course to ban use of PET, but I don't think that's the solution. Where we are at as a country today, I don't think banning PET is a solution, because if you look at it, it is a good and convenient package. There are a lot of investment that has been done within the country in this industry, so we don't want to lose those jobs. We don't want to go backwards. So the solution is how then do we take care of this PET after use so that then it does not become a menace, it does not negatively affect our environment. So we are looking to you to also help us create this awareness, and as we go along, you'll also be seeing a lot of awareness campaigns from the Coca-Cola company around PET collection and recycling. Also, just to mention, we're going to have a big campaign with schools, because we also think when we tackle this issue from the school perspective, where the kids understand how to take care of the environment, then we are bound to win. So we are going to have a big campaign in schools through our Coca-Cola, where we are going to do a lot of drive-in collection and education across the country. So we are looking to you to partner with us as we ensure we have a greener Kenya. Thank you very much.
I think we can all win together, and I think this is a good initiative that began this year to not litter our country. If you go to Europe or America, you will not find anything by the roadside. Is it true? Whereas here we are a young nation and creating opportunity, as she said, for young Kenyans to get some money, I think we can make this work together for us, for the sake of the future generations, to have a green economy. As I said earlier, this is where we operate as CCBA. That is the Kenya map. So anything in red is CCBA, is Coca-Cola Beverages Africa. Yeah? And then at the Mombasa, I know because you have some branches, some of you might have these coastal bottlers. They have one plant, 3 lines, and they do close to about 7% volume of Kenya. CCBA, Nairobi Bottlers Kenya, where we come from, we have 4 plants. One in Molo that does Keringet, and Bakasi, Nairobi, and also Kisumu Equator. Here is ours. So we have 4 lines, 11 lines, and our volume contribution to Kenya volume is about 65%. So for both and Almasi is Eldoret and Mount Kenya and Kisii. They are, as you can see, Kisii area, Eldoret, and the Mount Kenya area. They have 2 plants, which is Eldoret and Nyeri, and they have 5 lines, and they do 28% of volume for Kenya. So Nairobi Bottlers, CCBA, we have non-alcoholic beverages, and also Equator does non-alcoholic, and Crown Beverages, Keringet, in Joro, they do now the Keringet water. So, as I've said, that we are evolving and we are changing from the initial selling of soda. As you can see, in front of you, you will see these brochures. We place them in the tables so that you can have perhaps a good conversation. And as I said earlier, that besides doing the things that we, like now Monster, we distribute it for the Monster company from the US. So what we've done in late 2017, we had an alignment and an agreement I'll just go back one, through the Crown Beverages. You all know they began as a potato and water company. Yeah, they were doing Crown Crisps. And they also did the water in Molo. So under their license, when we bought them, they had a liquor license. You get? So the liquor license is allowing us to partner with the Grupo Campari, who is the owners of this world-class product in that brochure. So we are able to avail from gin to whiskey to vodka to liqueur, and now just lately to tequilas. So you'll see the brochure on the other second side, the product portfolio that is available to us. And later in the day today, after we are done with the seminar, we are going to give you people, the guys that consume or enjoy their drinks, we'll sample some of this product to you so that when you go back, you can be able to actually share with your procurement managers. We'll share our numbers too. A very affordable pricing, available throughout the country. We have many distributors selling this product for us. We do not sell it direct. And I'm sure we are all going to have a good time. So on the alcohol category, these are our brands. Those are just some of the leaders, but there are many, as you can see in the brochure. You can take it back with you and put the numbers that we're going to give to you. So, as we say, your first call, because you are committed most valued partner, we will be your first call. When you call, we will answer your calls. You are trusted early, and you are total business collaborator. As you see, we have sparkling, which is soda, we have water, we have juices, we are coming into tea, and we also have now the alcoholic beverage. So that is a commitment to you, and thank you so very much. I'll take questions before I give you my number.
Thank you very much. My name is Mustafa Idi once again.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Coca-Cola, for your products and the ones you yet to give in the future. I've got one question that is challenging, and it's about the way you package your water, the waters. No, let's talk about us, and let's just take this on. According to the research, maybe for example, let me talk about my side, maybe my fellow knowledge chefs can talk about it. They say that these plastics are associated to cancer, according to what I've seen scientifically. So they're saying that the more you use this, so these things, they inculcate cancers to our bodies, all right? These packages, the waters are good, and we love the water from Dasani, from Coca-Cola, and they're so good. But now, what I'm asking, now, suppose, what is your take? What are you doing to convince the customers? For example, now, in my side, in my place that I work, most of the customers are now shying off from this. They want tap waters. Because when you ask them why, they say that these things are associated with cancer, and now, cancer now, right now, we know that cancer is a national disaster, declared national disaster. Now, what can you do to convince me, for example, no want to sell these waters? Because I don't want the waters that are coming, and then they take long before I sell them. Now, what do I do? Because I order for waters. Now, when they come, they take long before, because people now shy off from this. They want what? They want but what's. Now, what do we do? Now, what can you tell us? Yes, answer me, please. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Unfortunately, or fortunately, we are not the only company bottling. We are the first company in Kenya right now, okay, the second perhaps, that will bottle in glass. We are going by global trends, is it? We will not be left behind by technology. And also, our sister shared right now about green economy and recycled material. Any product, when you expose it wrongly, it will give you some sickness, kind of. So, the little I know, I'm not a scientist. I did sales and marketing. I did do a lot of chemistry. But if it's exposed to sun and you drink in the hot sun, I think then you get problems. So storage is very important. And that is why we say all our products, they must be stored at 5 degrees Celsius. Serve it chilled, cold. Then you get the premiumness of the product. If you take it exposed under the sun, I'm sure you can go and Google. It's about storage. So if you store it in the right adequate temperature, in the right place, you will have your product and it won't harm you at all. She is going to assist me.
Yes, I'd like to answer that question. I'm a chemist by profession, so I do understand about PET. So essentially, I know there's been a lot of talk about microplastics in bottled products, in water especially. And I think last year there was some news about some waters in the country, including Dasani, that have microplastics, right? And I think that's the premise from where you're speaking. So I would like to put it to you, and you can check this at any level. That study was a study by one single company that made that claim. We have since taken our water to America, to England, to the best laboratories in the world. And it's been checked, and it does not have microplastics. Now, Gatere said also there is, it's also about how you store. Of course, there is the recommended storage of your PET packaged products, and I think it is good for us to observe that. But on the other hand, there is what we call resin. Resin is the product that make the bottle. Now, the quality of your resin, of course, determines the quality of your bottle, and hence the effects of that bottle to the product therein. So as Coca-Cola company, and with the standards we observe, we buy the very best resin. Polyethylene terephthalate, which is PET, the best quality. And you can do your research, you can check around and just see that the quality of your PET then determines the kind of bottle you have and what then can be translated from your bottle to your drink. So I would want to assure you that our water is safe. There are no microplastics in Dasani. It's safe, you can drink it at any point. But as also Gatere mentioned, we are looking to give the consumer what he wants. Now, if the consumer is not convinced that the Dasani in PET bottle is safe for them, that's why we have Dasani in RGB bottle, in a glass bottle, in a returnable glass bottle. So we will give all these varieties to you, just so that the consumer is able to choose what they like. But I personally drink Dasani all the time because I know it's safe.
Consumers, you'll get it in 1 week.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
RGB in 1 week.
Yes.
Across the country.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Again, we are listening to the consumer. Another question, please. Okay, let me start here, then I'm coming back.
Okay, thank you. I'm Mr. Otanga from the Nest Boutique Hotel. Now, 2 observations. There is this Coke Zero, Sprite Zero hype, and I think as people who deal in these products, it's important to have the product knowledge. Each maybe consumer likes the zero one. I would like to know how you come up with the zero products. And then maybe another observation for Madam, that you were saying maybe you're recycling the bottles maybe to something like t-shirts and all that. But maybe I thought, because you still use the bottles, why don't you recycle the bottles back to bottles? And then you still have the product in the market instead of producing more, because we will not need more of the production.
Yes. Yes, it has less sugar. It's just sweetener, but no less sugar in the product. In the line of plastic, you cannot recycle it and then repackage it again using the same material. It will have to become something else. Pegs, your plastic sheets or something like that. Big press for time. I'll take the last question, please. There is some people that want to leave, so we can give them space.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Samuel Karuki from Sun Africa Hotels. I'll free from those kind of problems that can be caused by such kind of chemicals. Is there any possibility for you to make products that can be chemical free?
Thank you for the question. Again, I refer you to the bottle in front of you, the Dasani. Please, there is a code. And nowadays, information is not hidden. There is a lot of freedom in expressing and giving product knowledge. That is why, under all our products, there is a barcode. If you scan it, for the sake of the consumer, before they even take it, you'll be able to know the content therein. So that if there's anything that perhaps is they take and they go to harm them, from the product knowledge, from the scanner, they'll be able to see and then say and swap something else, either a juice or a water. Is that okay? But we are here with you, but because of time, I want to get back to Mr. Mwangi. My number is 0722, because we'll be outside with you here when we are done. For the sake of further questions, 0722 886 004. Paul Gatele. Thank you so very much, and we really appreciate this passing of information to you. Enjoy the rest of the session.
Thank you so much, Paul. Let us appreciate Paul. That's wonderful. I know you have learned a thing or two. And as I allow them to what we call Nakuru TV. Have you ever heard of Nakuru TV? In fact, since the he just came to give us something, and I believe in what we call fertility of mind. And your mind cannot be fertile if it is not watered enough. If it is not given the right nutrients. And that's why today, I don't know how to introduce him. So, sir, you will forgive me if I don't introduce you very well. But today we have Dr. Wale with us. But before Dr. Wale, I would like to invite our director here, our mom of Lake Naivasha Resort, to come and welcome all of you here today.
Hi. Hello. How are you? My name is Rab Muhaki Karoki, RMK, and I want to thank all of you for coming to visit us. This is a new business. We didn't want visitors. I think this is the largest group which has set its feet on this carpet, and I'm grateful that it is my own people from my own industry. So we are excited in Lake Naivasha Resort to receive you. We are excited that we work together. The motto for the hospitality industry in Naivasha, especially in Nakuru County, is for us to work together. We want to hold hands, work like brothers and sisters, and we grow this industry. You're most welcome, and I take this opportunity to welcome my senior to come and talk to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, when she said my senior, I said, is that me? Well, thank you so much for the privilege, for the honor you have given me to be here. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to see so many old faces, old friends, new friends that I'll make today. And I've been asked to come and speak on transformational leadership. And I'm going to skew it in a little bit to connect with the hospitality industry. Now, like you heard, I have been in this field for many, many years. My journey started in 1989 as a researcher and strategist in a place called the Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies. And from there, the journey went on, and I've had the privilege of consulting for multinationals, for governments, and for a lot of people across the universe. And one of the things I think the thing I'm most passionate about is Africa. Because I'll tell you some statistics about Africa, and so you understand why I am passionate. The world's largest deposits of a mineral called cobalt is in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, cobalt is used in making jet engines, okay? Now, so Democratic Republic of Congo has the world's largest deposits. Now, the world's largest producer of cobalt is a company in Switzerland. And last year, their revenues were $202 billion. That could have been DRC. Am I communicating? So, the resource is there, but it's useless. And since I've been a kid, I've been told about the potential of Africa. But I cannot take potential to this beautiful resort. This is a wonderful resort, isn't it? Yes. I cannot bring potential here to pay my bills. We need potential that has been converted, isn't it? Okay. Now, let's look at something else. One of the world's largest producers of uranium is Niger Republic, just up Nigeria. Now, Niger Republic is one of the poorest countries on earth, yet uranium is used to make atomic bombs, amongst other things. So, we have the resources have not benefited us. Then let me tell you the saddest part of it all. One of the world's largest deposits of crude oil is a country in West Africa called Nigeria. Yet, this country, right now, 2 weeks ago, there were 80 million Nigerians living in extreme poverty. As at yesterday, it was 91 million. And it is growing at the rate of 6 every minute. Did you hear what I said? How do we explain that we have resources and we are in poverty? There's a story. And North Korea was really threatening South Korea. The United States put an aircraft carrier on the Korean Peninsula, just as a warning, say, okay, North Korea, just in case you've forgotten, we are here. Eh? Now, let's be honest and let's ask ourselves, if the threat that North Korea posed to South Korea was coming to Mombasa from somewhere else, do you think they'll put an aircraft carrier? They will issue a travel advisory and say, do not go to Mombasa. Am I telling the truth? Yes. So what is the difference? Well, let me give you something to think about. Now, man that does not convert is living at an animalistic level of existence. Now, that has been the problem with Africa. Because we wallow in potential. Potential is useless without the ability to convert. Let me ask you another question. Let's talk about cars. We go to the United States, we think of Chevrolet, we think of Ford, we think of Cadillac, we think of Lincoln, we think of Hummer, you know, all the United States. All right? Then let's go to Britain. We think of a Rolls Royce, of a Bentley, of Aston Martin, of the Land Rover, you know, family with Range Rover and all that. You go to Sweden, you talk of Volvo. Go to Germany, Mercedes, BMW, the Volkswagen family, and so on and so forth. You go to Japan, you have everything. Now, then you come to a continent of over 1 billion people, and you ask, what car have we contributed to the global market? So why are you not driving it? You understand what I'm saying today? Now, the raw materials for most of these things, where did it come from? So why are we that way? I've done too much research, and I can only offer what I think is the root of the problem. When the colonialists were leaving Africa, the emphasis was on management. Let's maintain, let's train the Africans to maintain what has been established. So Africans grew up with management in their DNA. That's why everywhere you go, there is a strong institute of management across Africa. Every part of Africa. It is only in the last 2 decades or so that the sound of leadership began to come out. I mean, I read a newspaper in England once, and they talked about the French leader, okay, has done so and so. In the same newspaper, he said, Nigerian ruler. In the same newspaper. We have a problem because we were not taught about leadership. So, what do we mean when we talk leadership? I've always said, if you think you are a leader and nobody is following you, then you are just taking a walk. Number 2, if people are following you only because there are consequences for not following you, it is not sustainable. So, going back to transformational leadership, we cannot talk transformational leadership without talking or defining transformation. And it is not rocket science, it is not big, something big. When you hear the word, and if you've listened to me before, you've heard me say this, because this is my heartbeat. When you hear the word transatlantic, what does it mean? Somebody tell me. Transatlantic. Across the Atlantic, isn't it? When you hear trans-Sahara, what does it mean? Across Sahara, trans-Zoya. So the word trans, what does it mean? Across. Now, if we understand that, you see, transformation is so simple, we need politicians to complicate it. So listen, so transform means, if trans means across, then transform means across form, from one form to another. So to understand it better, you have to think of a butterfly. One form is the egg. The other form is the larva. The other form pupa. And the final form is the adult. Now, each form is different, isn't it? So what is the job of a transformational leader? It is to identify what is the next form of what we are doing and inspire people to go to that next form. And in the hospitality industry, let me tell you what the next form is. For many years, we have been concerned about our products, and that is good. Being concerned about the product is good. But let me tell you, the next form of your customer is a customer that is more concerned about how you treat him. Is somebody hearing me? That is the next form. It is you see, let me put it this way. With good products and good services, you will get customers. But customers are fickle. They are not sustainable because I'm the customer today, something better comes tomorrow, I'm running there. Yes or no? Customers are not loyal. So how do we now take it to the next level is when we understand the next form, that it's no more about getting customers, it is about getting ambassadors. What is the difference? With good products and services, we will get customers, but with good experiences, we will get ambassadors. Let me give you an example. And you see, the customer may forget the product, they may forget the service, but they will never forget the experience. Many years ago, when Virgin Atlantic, you all remember Virgin Atlantic? When they still used to fly here. So I had I'd been flying British Airways for many years. So this particular day, there was no seat, no availability on British Airways. So I called Virgin Atlantic. And the first thing that happened, there was a lady called Carol. She picked the phone, and she sounded like she had been expecting my call. Okay? She was so nice. Then she said, "You mean you have never flown Virgin Atlantic?" I said, "No." She made me feel like I had missed half of my life by not flying Virgin Atlantic. I said, "Okay." She said, "Now listen." She said, "I want you to experience the Virgin Atlantic first class lounge at Heathrow. So you pay for an economy ticket, I will upgrade you to first class." Now, I did not know my life was just about to start. So, Virgin Atlantic, I'm sitting in first class, and when we had reached cruising altitude, 35,000 feet or so, this young lady shows up, okay? She is so fine. She looks it, she smells it, you know what I mean. And then she asked me, "Would you like a massage?" I said, "My what? Where?" She said, "A massage? Here." Yes. So I went, ladies and gentlemen, at 35,000 feet, when you are getting massaged, the only song that comes to your head, "Nearer my God to thee." My goodness, what? Then listen, then after the massage, I have my dinner, and then guess what? Next thing, she shows up with a bag and gives me, say, "Here's your pajamas." Pajamas. Now, Virgin Atlantic was the first to introduce, one of the first to introduce flat beds in first class. So she said, "Let me know when you're ready to sleep so I can come and tuck you in." Mamma mia. Tuck me in. I said, "I am ready." I said, "I'm ready." You know, my mother didn't give birth to a fool. I said, "I am ready." You know? I said, I may have been born at night. It was not last night. So, next thing, I go change into my pajamas. She had brought out the bed. I slept like a baby. Now, let me tell you, then I get to London. Then I'm coming back, it's the same thing. Now, if you were me, would you fly any other airline? No. Let me tell you, even if I was going to Lagos, I will go Nairobi, London, massage, London, Lagos, massage, then Lagos, London, massage. Do you know? And then I got a contract in the UK, so for 2 years, I was flying to the UK twice every month, Virgin Atlantic upper class. Now, can I ask a simple question? If Virgin Atlantic was still flying right now, which airline would you like to try next? You know why? It's the experience. And let me tell you something. How many of you know I can buy a bottle of Coke on the streets for 35 shillings? How much is it? 35 shillings? Something? Thereabout? Okay? Then I will come into a hotel and I will buy it at 100, 200, some 300, isn't it? Now, have you ever seen anybody, when they give him the bill for a bottle of Coke in the hotel, then he begins to shout, how can you sell for 200? Do you know outside there we can get it for 35 shillings? But have you seen anybody that does that? You know why? Once people are sure of the experience, they are not bothered about the cost. So, our main assignment now is to begin to design what is the Lake Naivasha Resort experience. What is the Oleken experience? What is? Because if we do not define the experience that we want to have, we are going to lose a lot of people. Because we have a generation, I started by saying what is the next form? We have a generation that is so concerned about the experience. Let me wrap up by sharing this. If you have been successful with an older generation, with the customer of the past, the fact that you are successful with the customer of yesterday does not mean you will be successful with the customer of today. And that's why I'm saying the next form of customer relationship is experience. Let me give you an example. The customer of yesterday was patient. The customer of yesterday was ignorant. The customer of yesterday did not have many options. Okay? The customer of yesterday was forgiving. Now, the customer of today is so knowledgeable that by the time they are coming to your facility, they can check around and compare your facility with 20 facilities around you. Yes or no? Yes. So they are informed. The customer of today is, thank you, the customer of today is absolutely impatient. The customer of today wants it now. Am I telling the truth? Yes. Good. The customer of today is unforgiving. Oh, let me give you a real life case study of the customer of today. There's a young man called David Carroll. David Carroll was a musician who lived in Canada. And he was flying on United Airlines. And he looked out of the window and he saw they were throwing his guitar. And he told them, you are going to destroy my guitar. Anyway, to cut a long story short, they had broken his guitar. So he asked them to pay for the repairs, $1,200. They did not. He continued trying to get them to do this for 9 months. They did not. He's the customer of today. You know what he did? He recorded a song called United Breaks Guitars. He did a video for it. He put it on YouTube. In 24 hours, he got over 1 million people watching it. Everybody hearing the message that United breaks guitars. It cost United Airlines about $180 million. that they could have done, fixed for $1,200. But there is a bigger case study. There's a young lady called Kylie Jenner. Anybody heard of her? 20, I think she's 22 or 23. How old is she? You look like you would know. 22, thereabout, okay. Now, this young lady is a billionaire. Okay? Now, let me tell you what happened. She was on Snapchat, and she did not like when Snapchat changed some of their features. Customer of today. So she complained, like everybody else complained. And nobody paid any attention. So on the 24th, I think, of February last year, she put up a post on Twitter. She said, is anybody still using Snapchat? Oh, it sucks, blah, blah, blah. On the 24th of February, 2018. In 24 hours, Snapchat had lost a value of over $1 billion. That's the customer of today. So, if you have experience in dealing with the customer of yesterday, that experience will not serve you in dealing with the customer of today. So we need to have a reorientation, and that is the transformation. It is only through our transformational thinking that we are able to address these issues. So I've seen a lot of places, I go to a lot of places where I'm treated. I went to a particular hotel in the coast, I won't tell you which hotel it was. And when I got into the room was smelling, you know, when I was small and I go into my grandmother's room, smelling stale, smelling of camphor, smelling of all sorts of things. That's how the room was smelling. So it began to affect my breathing. So I told them, I said, look, you got to change this room. And they said, okay, we're coming. 1 hour later, nothing had happened. I am the customer of today. So I packed my bags and I said, I'm checking out. And I said, I have over 45,000 people that I influence on social media. They will hear about my experience. Bye. Then guess what they said? They said, oh, no. Come, we have another room for you. And then they took me to this amazing, magnificent room. And I was angrier. You know why I was angrier? Why did you think I did not deserve this to start with? We need to be very careful where the customer of today is concerned. The customer of yesterday would take it and say, okay, maybe that's what they got. But the customer of today will not take it from you. Let me wrap up by telling you one story. And then I'll be done. I was watching. Is there anybody here from Zuku? Okay. I'm going to tell you a Zuku story. So one day, I'm talking about classic customer of today. So I had an office in Valley Arcade in Nairobi, and I had a TV in my office, and there's this TV station called the Luxury Channel. I liked it because I was made for the fine life. No, I was not made to struggle, I'm telling you. Anyway. No, I'm telling you. You see, this life I have is the only one I have. It's not a rehearsal. So I better leave it well. So I was in the Luxury Channel. Then, it was so good. So now at home, I stay in Karen. We have fiber. JTL fiber. No, we have DSTV, sorry. For TV, fiber for internet. We did not have Zuku in Karen then. So I asked, do you have this in Karen? Can I have it in Karen? They said yes. I said, are you sure I will be able to get the Luxury Channel? They said yes. I said, okay, fine. Get me into Karen. Come and fix it. So I told my PA, they set it up. They went to fix it in my house in Karen. Now, when I got home that day, I was excited, isn't it? What do you think I was looking forward to? So I went straight to my room to put on the television. What was I looking for? Because I said I have DSTV in every place. Put this one in my room. So luxury channel, I'll be, inspiring my mind about luxury when I'm sleeping. So, put it in the room. So I get to my room. Luxury channel is not there. So I'm thinking there must be a problem. I called somebody else, please. I called the office. What is the channel number again? They tell me it was not there. So I asked my PA to call Zuku and say, we have a problem. They treated my PA so badly. I said, okay. My son took up the thing. And they were so rude. So I decided, let me call. So I picked my phone and I called. And the lady that was talking to me was so ignorant. I said, give me somebody who has a brain, who came to work with their brain. Because, you see, not everybody that has a head has a working brain. No, I'm serious. Not everybody has a head. And some people think they are thinking, but are just rotating ignorance in their heads. So, she now gave me someone called Doris. So I picked the phone, and when I'm talking with Doris, she was worse than the person I was talking to before. Then she said, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do. And she cut off the phone. Hey, customer of today. So I just went on Twitter and I said, I have just been treated very badly by Zuku. Now, do you know what that does? And this is the danger of what social media does. Do you know what that did? Everybody, okay, let me ask, is there anybody here who has ever had a problem with Zuku? Anybody here? Just let me see with your hand, okay? So I'm not alone. So guess what? And we are just a few here. Imagine thousands of people reading, oh, I've had a problem with Zuku. So everybody who has had a problem with Zuku now remembered their problem. And they began to write. Within an hour, it was trending. Then somebody wrote me on Facebook now. I was on Twitter, then somebody on Twitter, somebody from Zuku now said, listen. Do you have an account with us? I said, no, I was jobless. I was just looking for who to talk to online. That's why I wrote this. What stupidity. And don't think stupidity is an insult. It's a descriptive word of somebody who is void of reasoning. So, guess what happened? Then their leadership now reached out to me. But by that time, the damage had been done. And I've always told people, if you want to give a proper customer experience, just profile a mad Nigerian boy like this. Okay? You will get it right. Okay? Now, I have more on transformation and all. I've written 16 books. And one of the reasons why I write, people ask, why do you write so much? It's because my greatest fear on earth is the fear of becoming irrelevant. That the world goes on and they don't need me. So I just keep writing and I just keep writing because I notice that even when people die, people still read their books. So I've written 16. But this one, I Wale 2, it talks about a lot of transformation. This one will help a lot of you. Help My Chocolate is Melting. It's a book that talks about different phases. I was watching a movie and this guy was told to build a house. He was told to build a house, and when he was told to build a house, it was in the morning. But by afternoon, he was told to build a chocolate house. By afternoon, when the sun was shining, what happened to the house? It was melting. So this is called Help My Chocolate is Melting. When the conditions change and you don't change, then you become victims. You get that? And then we have this mental independence. A lot of people do not know how to, a lot of people think accidentally. So this is a book to help you jumpstart your thinking. This is Creative Thinking, Secrets of the Billionaire. I have a whole bunch of them out there. And what we're going to do for you today, because of the partnership we're establishing, is that for every book you buy, you can pick any other one for free. A book is going for 1,000 shillings. Is that a good deal? So for everyone you buy, you can pick another one. So I hope I've added a little bit to this conference today, in the fact that the next form in the relationship with customers is creating experiences. And so you must define the experience. It must be so simple that the gate man understands it. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Let us appreciate Dr. Wale. Have you gotten something? Have you gotten something? I've followed Dr. Wale for many years. And I thank God because after spending many years doing what he has done here, he decided to start a club. I know he could not mention here. He has a club of intelligent people called Intelligentsia. And they meet every once in a week to just listen to great minds, including his mind and other people. And Nairobi they meet, Nakuru they meet, Mombasa they meet every week. And I was looking at him and asking, why did you decide to do this? Because I mentioned earlier, you don't know his red card. His executive director is seated there. I think, Doctor, did you introduce the team? I forgot. Okay, the team from Power Talk, let's be upstanding. We have Michelle there, the executive director. We have Noreen there from the office. And then Tom is somewhere. Thank you so much for coming. What I was saying, and that's why I appreciate Dr. Wale for coming. I know he has been in these hotels in Naivasha, invited by multinational companies. That's why he would say hi to some of the directors and managers here. For him to come and give you that talk for free, it is just a sacrifice. I'm telling you the truth. These are the people that you look at and say, when I grow up, I want to be him. And I've seen him talk to great men. He has a session with CEOs, top CEOs in the country. I think it's 12 meetings in a year or something like that. 12 meetings in a year, top CEOs. And when he talks on those meetings, you will see them listen. And I like what he has said, that his fear. I asked one of his mentors, what is his greatest fear? And look at what he has said, that his fear is to become irrelevant, that the world will move without you. And when he mentioned that, I said, okay, how many people here can be identified when your name is mentioned? When they just mention your name, then people will say, oh, that one I know, because they know your purpose, they know why you live. But there are some people, it is until they mention your father or your mother, or until they mention your village, or something that happened around you. That's, oh, that one. I also want to grow and become relevant in life. So I am grateful. And our next session, we are still on time. We are just behind schedule by 15 minutes. So you allow me to extend the program by only 15 minutes as they set up out there. And this time I want to invite National Oil. As I told you earlier, this particular program is on safety and security. And we have today with us Mr. Ken Mugambi, who is the head of corporate planning strategy. He's a corporate planning strategy and corporate affairs from National Oil Corporation. So let us welcome Mr. Ken Mugambi for this last session.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's such an honor and privilege to be standing in front of quite a distinguished audience, and especially coming short after Dr. Wale, who I've had the privilege of listening to before. Always dumbfounds me whenever you speak. So it's such an honor to just come in here right after you spoke. As Chairman has mentioned, my name is Ken Mugambi. I am responsible for corporate planning and strategy in National Oil Corporation of Kenya. Apologies from ourselves, first of all, for coming late. It's not in our habit. We got caught up in traffic from Nakuru, coming back this way. And also apologies from our CEO, who would have also loved to be here, but had to continue with the engagement in Nakuru. So let me say we are really, really privileged and honored that you invited us here and that we can partner with you in this forum. As many of you might know, National Oil Corporation of Kenya is a state-owned company, 100% owned by the government of Kenya. Our business is giving customer experience, let me use Dr. Wale's words, in the area of petroleum products, but we're also involved in petroleum upstream, which we call oil and gas exploration, development, and production. But here today we have come with one aspect and one focus, which is this product that you see here, Supergas. Gas yetu ni Supergas. And we'll tell you a little bit about Supergas, but really why you invited us, and we do not want to hijack your agenda, is to talk to you a little bit about LPG safety, cooking gas safety, and also how you can enhance your usage of LPG. So with me is my technical team, led by our LPG manager, Jacob. We've got Moses, then we've got Lawrence, who heads our corporate affairs, and also we have a team outside. So please feel free to engage with one of them to talk a little bit about cooking gas. We'll just go to the next slide to introduce National Oil before the team comes in. So this is who we are. Involved in retail. I'm sure you've seen our stations around. Gas, lubricants. We've got also, especially for a lot of you here who are, because I'm aware you're hoteliers, you may have fleets, even if it's 1 or 2 cars. We encourage you to take up Supercard. That magnetic chip there really ensures that you're able to control your fuel usage better. You have monitoring right up to your phone. You can be able to control which vehicle is fueled at whatever time. So the automation in that magnetic chip you see on that card really helps you in terms of monitoring and managing your fuel requirements. Okay, so we can. Yeah. So mine was just to introduce who National Oil is, what we do, and really to again appreciate you for allowing us to be here with you to just share a little from our experience in terms of managing gas. So I'll hand over the mic to Jacob so that he can take you through the technical aspects of LPG safety. Asante sana.
Thank you very much, Ken. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As you've heard, we are from National Oil Corporation, and my job is basically to demystify LPG, gas. I believe all of us here, one way or another, we interact with gas. We use gas at home, we use gas in our businesses, but sometimes you'll find there is some misunderstanding on the safety of gas usage, and it's important that you observe certain precautions when you're using gas. Of course, it's a flammable chemical, and if you're not careful, it can easily cause harm. So, the next slide, please. So basically, in short, what is LPG? It could sound like it's new to some of us, but it just stands for liquefied petroleum gas. It is refined from crude oil, like any other petroleum products, and that is the mixture there between propane and butane in 20/80 ratio. So basically, that is how we get gas. It's through fractional distillation. As you can see, all these products also come from the same petroleum product, but they are extracted at a different temperature, and gas is the lightest at 25 degrees Celsius. So what are the basic properties of gas? First of all, it is colorless, it is odorless, it is non-poisonous. However, if you ingest most of it, then there could be asphyxia, which is choking due to lack of oxygen. And the reason why sometimes you hear it smell is because it has a chemical called mercaptan, which smells like rotten cabbages. So that is what is a safety precaution actually, so that when it's leaking, you get the smell and you take action. So what are the properties of LPG? When mixed with air, it can burn and explode. That is why we are saying it is important. When there's leakage, it is easy to detect. It is basically heavier than air, and that means it sinks. When it leaks, it sinks. And that's a dangerous aspect because you might not notice unless you smell it. And that also can lead to leakage into other piping that you have in your either establishment or building, and that can cause harm even further away from where it began. So it's very important to understand that LPG is heavier than air and can easily leak. Go to the next one. So basically those are still the properties of LPG. I don't want to bother you with a lot of technical jargon. This is important. 1 volume of LPG can actually vaporize in 250 volumes. It easily expands. And that is why when it catches fire, you hear that explosion and can cause great damage. Go to the next one, please. So this is about stacking. I know if you're in business, sometimes you are forced to buy a lot of quantities, in stock, and therefore it's important to understand how do you stack them. So we provide industrial gas for industrial use and also for home use. So for industrial use, we store it in tanks, which I will show you in the next slides. The safety is around storage. But in your homes, you need to ensure that where you store gas, it is well ventilated. If it's in a tank, normally you'll find there is a signage with the emergency numbers in case there is an issue, who to call immediately. And also it's important to have dry powder and extinguishers easily accessible where the gas is stored. So these are just some myths about LPG that maybe you might have heard about. It's expensive. Well, it depends on how you view expense or cost. Food made by gas is not flavored or sweet. I heard Dr. Wale say about some issues about smell. I think that also comes into effect when using firewood, charcoal, or any other source of fire other than gas. So when you're using gas, of course, as I said, it is odorless, so it won't affect the smell of your food. It will still retain its flavor. It is for the rich. That's another myth that we'll demystify. And then it's not safe. Of course, anything that you don't take great care of can be unsafe for use. So it's about how you handle it. So this is what you call a fire triangle. Basically, for you to get fire, you need 3 components: oxygen, fuel, and heat. So if you eliminate one of these, then you are safe with gas. So like you said, it's a flammable chemical, and therefore it's important to ensure that wherever it's stored, wherever it's being used, there is no aspect that can cause a spark, because just a single spark will ignite the gas. So how do you handle and use that? This is just a general advice. First, the bottle, that's the gas cylinders, should not be stored horizontally because that can lead to leakage. Do not throw off the bottles when you are offloading or loading, maybe at your premises. It is important to take care so that you don't throw them about. That causes damage to the valves and even to the collars. Always display usage premises. Like I said, if it's a tank or a place where you store them, let's have a prominent signage to show that gas is available there. And then do not change the cylinders in the presence of flames. Kindly switch off all aspects of flames. And I've said on the fire triangle, eliminate the flame aspect and it will be safe. Next one, please. Next. So this, I'll just mention the details on the cylinder. What is important is the year of manufacturer, because there are so many unscrupulous suppliers of gas out there. And there's something we call revalidation. That is a process that a gas cylinder goes through after 8 years of usage to ensure that it goes through a process to check on the valves, check on the paint, to ensure there's no leakage. So if you're using a cylinder gas, then it's important to check the year of manufacturer so that you can check whether there's been a process of validation done over time. The next one. Then the weight is important as well because the filling of gas is critical. We have got illegal fillers. Sometimes you might go to buy gas, and when you weigh it, it's not the exact weight on the cylinder. It's important to always make sure that you weigh the gas to reflect the tonnage or the weight written on it. So these are just typical complaints. I'm sure some of you have bought gas, and when you go to use it at home or in your premises, it's not lighting. So sometimes you'll find the cylinder was probably overfilled, and that can easily be done by purging. Purging, you just press the knob on top of the cylinder, and some gas will escape, and therefore there'll be some space for it to liquefy and therefore light. Leaking cylinders, if you have any leakages from the valves or from the entire cylinder, it's important to return it to the supplier as soon as possible. Regulator not fitting, probably the valve has been tampered with, like I mentioned, when you throw it or when you are offloading. And the cylinder is not full, you'll only know that if you've actually weighed it at the point of purchase. So in terms of transportation, you need to transport gas in upright position. You store in well-ventilated places. Ensure windows are open when cooking or lighting with gas. You store away from other sources of heat, such as charcoal, jikos, and open fires. Check for leakages. If there's a smell, if you get any rotten cabbage smells, you know that it's leaking, and therefore you move it away or shut off any source of power. And then don't store gas in the basement areas because of the issues of ventilation. So what do you do then when gas is leaking inside a building? One, switch off all emergency valves outside the wall of the building. If it is if there's a reticulation in the building, do not operate any electrical equipment like switching on lights that can spark. Open doors to ventilate the building so that it can escape and fresh air can circulate in the room. And then ensure, for example, if it's a tank especially, there is regular maintenance by certified engineers. So when buying gas, what do you check for? Of course, like I mentioned,
my name is Joel.
Using proper machines, so the issue of overfill is not really an issue for national oil gases. Rather than, yeah.
Sorry, yeah, I think that's an important point, and just to add to what my colleague has said, we are increasingly seeing a lot of these issues, either gas overfilled or underfilled, and this is because of the growth of illegal refillers, and that's why part of the reason why we are here is to sensitize you, our customers, about ensuring that you're getting your gas from recognized and accredited companies or distributors. We've come with two of our distributors here today who are based in this region, so that also you're buying gas from people who are accredited by national. But the challenge we are seeing increasingly is, especially where our brand is known and it's popular, you are having a lot of the cylinders being taken away by these illegal refillers and refilled. But to your question, sir, we assure you that part of our filling process is actually the weighing. So the filling plant has a weighing mechanism so that you don't overfill and then end up in the situation that you're highlighting. But importantly, what I would encourage all of us here is please use validated and accredited distributors or companies, and the team from National Oil is here if you want to have a further engagement, especially for those distributors around this region. They can talk to you, they can do delivery to your hotels, so that then you avoid the situation of getting gas that is not properly filled.
So first, I would like to thank you so much for the insightful presentation. Just a question I had. We've talked a lot about how you check the measurements before you buy to ensure that it's fully filled. But now, as you continuously consume the product or use the product, right? How do you check that I'm on the right levels or I don't run out of gas when I don't have other gas? Yeah, is there like an indication on the side? Because I know Progas has come out with such an invention. Do you guys have the same?
So yes, there are mechanisms for or additional tools for checking. So for example, you might have a regulator that is linked to a gauge, a fuel gauge. And those we can provide. However, I'll allow Moses, who probably is also in this field, to comment a little bit about that. But yes, there are mechanisms for actually gauging that. Also, in the market now, you may have seen this, there are cylinders that are transparent, and you're able to see that. But unfortunately, they are not yet available probably in the 50 kilogram segment. They are mostly in the 13 kilogram segment, which probably may not be economical for large bases like yours. But
I think there's also another aspect. You can check the levels of gas. You will take the 13 kg cylinder and you use a wet cloth and you wipe on the side. You will see a difference whereby where the gas level is, you'll find the cylinder is still wet. Okay, and that has been used over and over. And then that should actually be able to show you how the levels of the gas are going, which is used in homes and has been a traditional way of checking gas. Yeah.
Okay. Let us appreciate National Oil. National Oil is also government, so that was Serikali. And so when they're speaking, they speak with the mouth of the government. We have come to the end of our sessions today. Has it been insightful? Have you gotten something? So we were to end by 5. It's 5:15. I want to apologize for the 15 minutes delay. So from here we are going to go out there. There are a few snacks and some cocktails and bitings that we're going to enjoy. And you don't just enjoy on your own, you don't enjoy with someone you know. That's why we say it's a bonding cocktail. Make sure you bond. Enter, don't walk out, I'm not giving you permission to walk out. Enter into a conversation with someone you don't even know. Even Dr. Wale is here. Whoever wants to enter into a conversation with Dr. Wale, there is a wonderful friend here. Mr. Oshira, just stand up. There's a wonderful friend here. He's not a hotelier. Mr. Oshira has a wonderful mind. He has written a book called Nyeri Book of Records. Who has ever seen Nyeri Book of Records? He's now doing Embu Book of Records and Nakuru Book of Records. He understands everything from where we originated. I think we started somewhere, either in Sudan or somewhere in Ethiopia. So he's well equipped. He's doing a book. If you want to appear in that book as part of Nakuru, you can talk to him. If you know that you have content to appear in the records of Nakuru, you can talk to him. And I know you will interact much with Mr. Mark here, because of the information that you need. But I will allow members to interact with Mr. Washira out there as I pass the vote of that. Thank you so much, Mr. Washira. I want to thank all of you who came, all our partners, Power Talk, National Oil, Farmers Choice. We have tourism fund. I can see Maureen there. Tourism fund is represented. The national government represented by our Naivasha OCS. We are very, very grateful. Coca-Cola, Kerochi, and all those that have supported this initiative. I will just tell you that let us support the association. Let us come together more and more. We can only win and we can only fight this battle when we are together. So when we call you next time, this time we call F&B service, next time we will call housekeeping. Let us all send our personnel and let us support this initiative. Let us all be upstanding we want to close with a word of prayer. Can we get a volunteer? Can we get a volunteer to pray for us before we go out? Mr. Maratani, kindly come and pray for us as we go out. And before we pray, there are certificates that will be issued. Association member certificate will be issued as we bond, and also Farmers Choice, they are organizing for certificates for those who attended the first session.
Let's bow down and pray. God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, we thank you for your guidance. We've come to the end of this meeting. We've talked a lot, we have planned a lot, and we pray that, God, may you give us the power to experience and to give good experience to our customers. And also, may we excel in our businesses. Give us our journey mercies. Take care of our employees, our employers, and everybody at large. I pray this shortly prayer through Jesus Christ our Lord.
Amen. Thank you. Let us walk out. The meals are distributed. You can just stand at any corner. If you want tea, if you want a drink, they are all over.